Today I am going to get something yummy going in the slow cooker for dinner. And since I'm going to be saving myself 30, 45, 60 minutes of time I would have spent making dinner tonight, I'm going to tackle a home project that I have been putting off. Namely, that cabinet right here in my living room. It may look very unassuming and harmless, but what's behind that cabinet is chaos. I have a little over a pound of chicken thighs that I am going to use in this recipe. You could use chicken breast. I decided to use chicken thighs because number one, that's what I have, but also because this recipe is going to be a little bit leaner. There's not a whole lot of fat in the other ingredients in the recipe, so I wanted to use the chicken thighs because they're just a little bit fattier than a chicken breast and will add some flavor to the dish. Right now I am chopping up about half an onion, 2 carrots, and 1 stalk of celery. Now if I'm making something like this on the stove, a lot of people would saute their mirepoix, you know, the carrots, celery, and onion in like a little bit of butter or oil. And some people might choose to still do that step when they are using mirepoix in a crockpot dish. I don't do that usually because I feel like the slow cooking process, you know, cooking it on high for 3 to 4 hours or slow for 5 to 6 is still gonna bring out a lot of the flavor and fragrance from those aromatics. So I don't worry about sauteing them before they go in the crock pot. I just put them in. Now I'm gonna peel and chop some russet potatoes I have hanging out in the pantry. Mine are pretty small, so I think I'm gonna do 5 of these like small to medium sized potatoes and then drop them into the crock pot with everything else. To season this, I'm using 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. I'm going to do a heaping teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of cumin. You could use less if you're not a cumin fan. 1 tablespoon of chicken bouillon or your, bouillon or broth base of choice. Salt and pepper to taste. I'm going to go pretty easy on the salt because the broth base is pretty salty. But I'm going to add several cranks of black pepper here. I almost forgot, I'm going to throw in probably a heaping tablespoon here of garlic. I have 2 small cans of diced green chilies. These are the little 4-ounce cans. You could use 1 big can. I think they're 7 ounces. Or if you don't like, spicy things as much and you just want to cut back to 1 can, you could try that. 3 cups of water. Of course, you could use broth and then just cut out, the bouillon that I put in here. One more thing I'm adding to this recipe is 1 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. That's evaporated milk, not sweetened condensed milk. Sweetened condensed milk and evaporated milk are often near each other or next to each other in the grocery store, but don't mistake one for the other. Sweetened condensed milk is what we use to make caramel and other desserts. Evaporated milk is milk that has had some of the water removed, and I can actually use this at the beginning of the cook cycle with crockpot recipes and it won't curdle. But if you don't want to use this, you could leave it out, go ahead and get everything else cooking in the slow cooker, and then later on at the end of the cook cycle, when you're almost ready to serve it, you could add like half a cup of heavy cream or a cup of half and half at the very end to kind of give this chicken stew that I'm making the richer consistency that I'm looking for with the milk. Okay, that took all of like 10 minutes to prep, even with me talking to you guys and moving the camera around. So I definitely will have time to tackle that project while this is cooking up. We'll come back to it later and finish it up. And also, I'm gonna pop in one of these loaves of sourdough from Wild Grain. They're sponsoring today's video. You guys know if you've been watching my channel that I have been making more of my bread products from scratch, but not sourdough, because believe me, I have tried and tried and tried to master sourdough, and it's just not happening for me. So I splurge on a Wild Grain box every now and again for my sourdough bread, and also so I can get other high quality pastries, breads, pastas sent right to my door that can go into the freezer, and then when I'm ready to bake them up, they go from the freezer straight to the oven. Wild Grain partners with small bakers and pasta makers across the country to bring you the first Bake from Frozen subscription box for breads, pastries, and fresh pastas. They're very particular about their products, using simple ingredients and a slow fermentation process that can take upwards of 20 hours. But it can be easier on your belly and richer in nutrients and antioxidants. In addition to the standard sourdough, my husband and I really like the ciabatta rolls and breads. My oldest child, Ruthie, really likes the scones. My younger daughter, McKenna, really likes the sourdough baguettes. And my son, of course, loves the giant chocolate chip cookies. And everybody likes the croissants. I mean, those are to die for. Some of the best croissants I have ever had. And you can actually get those free for the life of your subscription as part of the offer today. Right now, if you want to try out Wild Grain, you can visit the link in the description box below and use my code Mindy30. It's going to get you $30 off your first box plus free croissants for the life of your subscription. Again, that link is in the description box and the code is Mindy30, or you can scan the QR code right here and sign up for Wild Grain and get $30 off your first box plus free croissants for the life of your subscription. And thank you again to Wild Grain for sponsoring today's video. This is like my Monica closet.
No, you weren't supposed to see this!
I wish I could say it's the only one around my house, but if I'm being honest, I think I probably have several Monica closet spaces around my home.
You're messy.
So in addition to housing like our wireless router and our DVD player, yes, we still have one of those. I have been using this cabinet to store like home decor and candles that I don't currently have out other places around the house, but it's become kind of a catch-all for those home items or decor items or random picture frames or things that I just don't have a specific place for. And I have let it grow to the point where I don't even remember everything that's in here. So I think it will be a good idea to just take everything out and set it out on my dining room table and see what we're working with. Oh, look at those little babies. Look at those little babies. Okay, this is kind of fun because this is our first house that we bought right when we got married. Our first little starter home. Signs you're living in a house built in the 1900s. These cords here, these wires, go to nothing. Nothing at all. But they're wired into the wall back there, so like they're just gonna live here in perpetuity. A shrine to cable or phones of the 1900s. One of the greatest movies of all time. I can quote almost every line.
No merci, I am a lady.
Okay, this is hilarious because I have not just one, but 2 copies.
Why would anyone want to kill him twice?
I mean, you never know when you're gonna need a spare, right? These things up on the top shelf are items that my mom brought to decorate a table for my oldest daughter's 16th birthday party. That's one of the reasons why I don't buy a lot of home decor, is because typically if I buy it, I can find it like secondhand at the thrift store, or between my mom and me or one of my sisters. I have 3 sisters and me. There's almost always something we can send each other for whatever occasion we might need to buy decorations for. Now, this cabinet down here is where we keep games and puzzles that we still play and use frequently. And I actually just went through this like right before Christmas. So I'm not gonna bother to like get the things out from there and reorganize them because I recently did that. Okay, so this is just about everything minus the DVD player and the wireless router that was in that cabinet. Man, it's actually, it looks like so much more now that I have it all out here on the table. I can't believe that one cabinet was holding all of this. These albums are very heavy, and I actually think that cabinet isn't a good place for them because these shelves are not that strong. I don't think that they're meant to hold like a whole bunch of books. So these are mostly from my husband's childhood, and I have a cedar chest in the living room, and I think actually there's room for these in that chest. So we'll go ahead and get these out of the way. I think sometimes we hold on to things because we feel obligated to, not necessarily because they're super special or functional at all anymore. For instance, this is a wedding book, and it's not an album. It's a place where like you're supposed to record, you know, like your showers and like different events that happen and put pictures and stuff in it. As you can see, it's mostly blank. The only thing that is in here that is of any interest is like our guest list, like the people who attended our wedding. Everything else is mostly empty. And I have been hanging on to this for 20 years. I know some people will think that I'm heartless, but I already asked my husband. He said, you can throw that in the trash. We have pictures from our wedding. We know who was there. I actually have DVDs stored over here in a completely different chest where I keep books and things. But now I think there's gonna be plenty of room to take these out and maybe just put them in a lighter container, a different container, and store them with the DVD player. And you may be wondering why I'm even bothering keeping my DVDs, but quite honestly, I feel like they keep changing the rules with streaming, and we keep having to purchase more and more streaming apps to have access to movies and shows. So I've started to just hang on to the ones that I know we like and will want to watch on repeat. And now I have another empty box in here for when I come to reorganize this little chest over here, because this will definitely be a project that needs tackling soon. And just to be clear, I'm not purchasing any new storage containers. I have plenty of containers, baskets, bins, things that I can use already in my home. This isn't gonna be like a Pinterest perfect arrangement of things. We're just trying to tame the clutter, and I don't wanna have to spend any money to just, you know, keep the house in order. Time for a crispy Diet Coke break. I think I need a shelf that is just for candles and candle holding objects. We'll get those out of the way next. For Christmas this year, my dad made me a beautiful wooden Advent wreath. And since we store our Christmas stuff outside, like in the garage or in the shed where there's not as much temperature control, I couldn't store the candles with it. So that's what these are. These are the candles for the Advent wreath. But I have come across a couple of items that didn't get put away with Christmas stuff that I keep forgetting about. So I'm gonna put them with the candles, so that next year when I pull this bin out for my Advent wreath candles, these items will be with it, and I'll know that they need to go with the Christmas stuff. Since this is just kind of like a quick declutter and reorganization, I'm not looking for perfection, and I'm not looking to make any hard decisions. If there's something that I'm not sure I'm ready to get rid of, if it's like, oh, I don't know, I'm not using that right now, but I might want to use it later, I'll just go ahead and keep it. I have a spot for it in the cabinet. But if it's something that I know we no longer need or want, I've got a little trash bin going here of items that I know we can get rid of, then, you know, that'll be easy. I'm just looking for like the low-hanging fruit where that's concerned. If I have to stop and think about it, I'm just gonna keep it for now. Okay, I think I need to round up just some of the random like decor items that I'm not using but want to keep, and maybe put them all on a shelf together. These are kind of cute though. I may need to find a spot to hang these up, like side by side. Maybe a bathroom or something. Okay, so I did find a few things to give away, a few things to throw away, and a few things that I could just send to other places in the house that made more sense as far as storage goes. And what I'm left with is a cabinet that is not only a little more organized, but one where I can see everything. So I know what I have to work with when I'm coming there to look for something to refresh my house in a different season. And also there's still some room. There's some room for me to put other things in there as I come across them in other spaces and think, oh, I need to store that in the living room cabinet. But it's not perfect by any means. I mean, there's not anything like Pinterest worthy about this cabinet, but I'm feeling a little bit better about it myself. My soup has been cooking for several hours. I did the first hour on high, and then I bumped it down to low for the last almost 5 hours. All I'm gonna do now is take the chicken out, shred it up, put it back in, and I'm gonna add some cheese, probably about 8 ounces of shredded cheese. You don't have to do that if you don't like cheese, or if you just wanna leave the cheese separate and let people put it on their own bowl. We're a cheesy family, so that's what I'm going with. I hope this gave you some realistic inspiration to maybe just tackle a small organization project you've been putting off in your house, or at least give you an idea for a tasty dinner. Thank you again to today's sponsor, Wild Grain. You can check them out in the description box below. YouTube thinks you might want to watch this video next. If so, we'll see you there.